My son, you do not remember me. I am Jarrell, your father. By now you have reached your 18th year as it is measured on earth. And by that reckoning, I will have been dead 1,000 of your years. The knowledge I have, both physical and historical, I have given you fully on your voyage to your new home. There are important matters to be sure, but still matters of mere fact. There are questions to be asked, and it's time for you to do so. Here in this fortress of solitude, we shall try to find the answers together. So, my son, speak. Who am I? You are Anakin. Your name is Anakin. You are the only survivor of the planet Tatooine. Even though you have been raised as a human being, you're not one of them. You have great power, some of which you have yet to discover. Come with me now as we break the confines of your earthly confinement and travel through time and space. It is forbidden for you to interfere in human history. By the time we return to the confines of your galaxy, 12 of your years have passed. Okay? It is time for you to rejoin this humanity, your world, and serve its collective humanity. But as one of them, Anakin, discover where your strength and your power lie, and your power needed, and always hold in your heart the knowledge of your special heritage. They were great people, Kyle. They wish to be, they only lack the light to show them the way. The capacity for good. For that reason alone, I send them you, my only son.
Hi, this is Trepacer. Welcome to Trepacer Saturday Reviews, episode 92. And I'm here to review two movies. I went to see one movie today, and I saw a movie when I got back home. Okay, first I went to see The Hunger Games, MockingJay, Part 1. There we go. So at 11 o'clock this morning, starring Jennifer Lawrence. Okay, and Josh Hutcherson, Woody Harrelson, Liam Hemsworth, Woody Harrelson, Donald Sutherland, Philip Seymour Hoffman, Julianne Moore. Elizabeth Banks is in this as well, Jenna Malone, Jeffrey Wright, a bunch of stars in this. And basically, if you remember the way Catching Fire ended, with Katniss being whisked off and the arena being destroyed and the games being destroyed, but Peter being still left behind, Peter and some of the other victors being left behind. Okay, and this movie begins basically with her. She goes to District 13, which is underground, which was thought to be destroyed, but they're actually underground. And there she meets President Coin, played by Julianne Moore, and basically they want to use her as a symbol to, keep up the rebellion. Okay, and of course the Donald Sutherland, who plays President Snow, wants to crush the rebellion. And basically this part of, I guess, Mockingjay, which they split into two, is them basically trying to use Katniss as a symbol to rally the other districts to, and they try to get their message out to rally the other troops to rebel against President Snow and the big society. So that's basically what this movie is. But also for Katniss in this movie, of course, she worries about Peter, and Peter she wants, and like you see in the trailer, you see Peter he's been captured, and so then they basically use him as a propaganda tool to try to get people to not rally against the capital. But of course Katniss she's concerned about she has a few conditions. She tells him, listen, I'll be the symbol for you. I'll be your Mockingjay as long as you save Peter and the other and the other victors. Okay, and this movie is basically about them, taking her out, letting her see, they even take her back to the old District 12, which has been destroyed. It's basically been wiped out. Once she got away, they wiped out District 12, and of course, she reunites with her mother and her sister, who is down there in District 13. Of course, she reunites with Gail, and basically, like I said, they use Philip Seymour Hoffman's character and and the President Coin, played by Julianne Moore. Like I said, they want to use Katniss as a symbol to rally the troops, or rally the other districts to fight against the Capitol. Okay, so the Capitol is trying to stop them. And now this movie, I enjoyed it. I mean, it was different, I think, than the other two, because there's no real Hunger Games in this part, in this, I guess, part of the movie. But I still enjoyed it. I thought it was good. I know a lot of people, think that, and maybe they shouldn't have split the books, but I guess I have to see part 2 to judge that. But this part, I enjoyed it. I know it was different. It was slow, and it was different because there was no Hunger Games in this, so that aspect of it was different. But this time, you see Jennifer Lawrence. I think this is great as Katniss, because she's full of doubt and fear, and of course she fears for Peter and what they're doing to him, and to get him to broadcast these messages where he's back in the Capitol. So she worries about him, and she also worries about her sister and her mother, and at the same time she has to be this symbol, and they even take her on a trip to one of these districts where she has to visit, and there's a great sequence where she goes through the hospital and she has to visit all these people that have gotten wounded fighting, and they have her walk through, and then they basically recognize her, and they start to they get quiet, and they kind of rally. They have to use her to rally again, rally up, and then what the Capitol does to basically squash that. And like I said, this movie is, like I said, it's different from the other two, and if I have to rate them, I still enjoy it, but this one is different because, like I said, the pace is a little slower in this one, and like I said, you don't have no Hunger Games in this, but I thought the actors all did a good job in this one. And this one, like I said, this one is slower because, like I said, they split it into 2. And like I said, if they made one big movie, maybe, I guess when we see part 2, I guess part 2 will have more action in it and stuff. I mean, there's a couple of action sequences in this, but this one is not as action packed as the other 2. Okay, but I think this one is more cerebral. Like I said, they get you more into Katniss's head and her fear. Yeah, and I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. So, but like I said, if I had to rank them though, I like the second one. I really like the second one, and the first one, and then I guess this one, MockingJay Part 1, would be the third part. And I'm assuming Part 2, I guess, of MockingJay will be more action packed, because more things. It'll be the ending, so there'll be more things happening and stuff. But I thought the actors did a good job of what they, like I said, they had split in half. So I guess this part is the more cerebral part of it, and then the second part will be the more where you have more action in it. But I still enjoyed it. So I'm going to give MockingJay, Hunger Games, I'm going to give it an give it an 8 or 7.5. No, I'm going to give it an 8. I 8 because I think Jennifer Lawrence does a really good job as Katniss. She's really owns the role, and she, and I thought Josh Hutcherson, who's not in the movie as much as you would think, okay, but he's really good in this part too. And I thought, like I said, Woody Harrelson is good too. Liam Hemsworth, he's in the movie more, but I also, Julianne Moore is good. She has to play this stoic leader and stuff. I thought she's good, and Philip Seymour Hoffman is there trying to, like I said, spur Katniss on, and I thought he was good too. So again, I'm gonna give it an 8. Like I said, I thought the last one I gave a 9. I think Catching Fire I gave a 9. And I guess the first one I would give an 8.5. But this one I would give an 8. I think just because this one is, and a lot of people maybe think this one is a little slower paced because it's, like I said, there's no Hunger Games in this part, but you still have action, you still have things going on, and emotional beats in this movie, which I thought was really good. Okay, anyway, now the next movie I saw is an animated movie, and the reason I got this movie is because I saw Fievel, and then somebody had mentioned that they liked Donald Bluth, The Secret of NIMH, which I had never seen before. So I watched it, and basically this is based on a book, which I didn't know that. Okay, and it's basically about a mouse who's I guess what do they call her name, Mrs. Bisbee. Okay, she has to, her son is ill, and she must seek the aid of a colony of rats. Basically, because she lives on a farm. Okay, with her 4 kids. You know, her husband has been recently died. Okay, and basically she's trying to. Her son is sick, and she has to. She really can't move them, but she has to move them because the farmer on the farm is about to come through where her house is with the plow and plow through. So normally they would move, but her youngest son is 6, and she can't really move him. Okay, so she has to seek help from these. She actually goes to see a guy first. She goes to see Mr. Aegis, and he advises her that she should seek out the owl. No, he gives her medicine to give to her son, which she does, but he's not supposed to be able to, she's supposed to stay in bed for she said 3 weeks, he tells him, so she can't really move him, but she has to move because, like I said, the farmer's coming through with his plow. So basically, they tell her that she has to go see the wise owl, okay, the wise owl, who tells her basically that go see the colony of rats, and they're supposed to give you, help you in your situation. Okay, and this movie was the animation is beautiful, and the voice work I thought was great, but the story didn't really grab me. I mean, it's basically about these rodents that are, I guess, the secret of NIMH. I guess I don't know if I want to spoil what the secret is, but the secret is of these, that she has to go see these colony of rats that are advanced. They're advanced rats. Okay, for a reason which I don't want to spoil. Okay, to basically save her, save her youngest son and save her family, basically, because they're going to get run over by this farmer and his plow. Okay, and along the way she meets various characters. She meets a crow. Is it a crow? A black crow, yeah, a black crow played by Donna Louise. A crow named Jeremy, which is Larry right there, who's looking for love. Okay, and then she has her 4 kids. They're precocious, and she has a Auntie Shrew, who's very uppity and particular. And then you have, like I said, you have the colony of rats, and then you have the great owl, voiced by great John Carradine, and then you have the colony of rats. You have Justin, voiced by Peter Strauss, and you have a bunch of other rats in there. And basically, she basically has to go to them for advice, to see if they can help her move her house, basically. Okay, and she has to go to them. And there's a secret, the secret of the title, Secret of NIMH. There's a secret that involves the rats. Okay, which I don't want to kind of spoil, but overall, it was okay. I mean, the animation is okay, and the story, I think they said I was reading a little bit about this, and they said it kind of, because Miss Frisbee is a widow in the story, and her husband was a friend, a great friend of the rats, the rats, of NIMH. She was, her husband was he was a great, because they even explained in the beginning of the movie how, Mr. Bigsby was a great friend, but he's passed on. They kind of downplay his story. I guess they said in the book his story is more pronounced, her husband, but in this movie I guess they kind of downplay his role, and it's more about Mrs. Bisbee and her kids and trying to find out, going to the rats to find out what, and then finding out what their secret is. And it was okay. It didn't grab me. I mean, like Fievel, American Tail, that really I really liked that movie. This one was okay. Like I said, the story just didn't move me. Yeah. Okay. I know a lot of people really love this, and again, the animation's great, but I guess this story didn't move me. I guess the way I thought it would. Okay. But it's entertaining, and I guess if you're into Donald Bluth's animation and stuff in the story, like the animation's great, the voice work, but the story just didn't move me. Okay, I guess I don't know that's a corny way to say it, but it didn't grab me. Okay, it was okay. It was a decent. So I would give Secret of NIMH Hold on for a minute. I'll give it a 7. Okay, I'll give it a 7 out of 10. It just didn't move me like, I don't know, just the story didn't move me. I guess, you know, like I said, there's the secret, which I don't want to spoil in this review. It has to do with the you know, the colony of rats that she goes to visit to seek help with, you know, moving her home and stuff, and that her husband used to be a part of. Okay, but it's just, I don't know, the story didn't wow me. Okay, I'm just gonna say that, but it was entertaining for what it is, and like I said, if you like, you know, the animation was great, voice work fantastic, and it was okay. It just didn't move me, and I understand there's supposed to be like a sequel to this. Okay, and maybe I'll get the sequel to see if the sequel moves me more. Okay, but anyway, 7 out of 10 for Secret of NIMH. The Hunger Games, MockingJay Part 1, I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. The story is different from the first 2 movies. Of course, obviously, there's no, I guess it's a spoiler, there's no games in this part. Okay, but, and it's a little slower than the other ones. Okay, but I still was entertained all the way through, and I can't wait for the Part 2. And then maybe once I see Part 2, maybe I'll think maybe they should have made just one movie instead of 2. They split it into 2, you know, to 2 movies. But this one, I guess, is more setting up, you know, for the second part. Okay, but I entertained them. Jennifer Lawrence is great. You know, she did a real good job as Katniss as usual. She totally owns that role, and I enjoyed it. So I'm gonna give it an 8 out of 10. So anyway, let me know what you think of those 2 titles. Feel free to leave comments down below. And if you like this review, please hit the subscribe button down below. And this is Trepacer saying so long and take care.